Welcome to this Windows channel. And basically, yesterday, July 29th, was the anniversary, the 3-year anniversary of Windows 10. And we've had several versions of Windows 10 come through. At first, it was there was an update in the fall, and there was only one update in 2016. And we were able to manage updates in 2017 that had 2 updates. And Microsoft has kind of decided that 2 updates a year would happen all the time. We're on track to have the second update for 2018 in a couple of months. And it's interesting how things have changed, and some versions were better than others. We got to think about when Windows 10 arrived in 2015. Microsoft had said it's the last version of Windows, but of course it's an evolving version of Windows. A lot of people say, "Oh well, it's unfinished." No, that's not what it is. It's evolving. It is changing all the time. That's it. It's not unfinished. It's just being tweaked, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. And they try to bring Windows 10 to a operating system people will love. And well, I remember Satya Nadella saying that they want Windows 10 to be the best version of Windows, and that people will love Windows. Yeah, okay, it's it's a statement. So in 2015, when Windows 10 was released, of course, there was a few little things. Microsoft Edge was not finished. Microsoft Edge was such at a basic level that should not have been there probably. But there are improvements that came through time. Windows 10 changed through the times, and it in some cases it changed for the good. The privacy settings were tweaked, trying to make them less of a problem and a concern. Because let's face it, Windows 10, there's a lot of complaint about the telemetry it sends, and that there's all the people that say, oh well, it's spying on us, Microsoft spying through Windows, and Windows 10 is the example. And I do not agree with that, but you're entitled to have your opinion on this. But it is interesting because we got to face the fact that they have adjusted. Privacy settings are different. Whether or not you still think it's spying on us is whatever you want to think. It's your opinion, but it tweaked it. But it tweaked it because let's face it, not necessarily because people complain. They tweaked it because the European Union was starting to look at Windows 10 and saying, hey, you got to make things a little better on the privacy side, and on how people can understand all the privacy side of this. But it's what happened. They've tweaked it, they've changed it, and it's really what's happening right now is what is better. Of course, there's Windows 10 was rather stable, but it had some hiccups. Some other versions, Anniversary Update is one, which broke the famous C920 Logitech camera, which is the most popular webcam in the world. Kind of, told us, whoa, what's happening? The insider program was there. Why did that happen? Why didn't they see that the most popular cam had some issue? Then and a lot of complaints of stability and blue screens and problems. Then came creators and fall creators, which rolled out really well and with pretty much no glitches. There's always a small number of people that have issues, and that it will always be. April 2018 update arrived, and it's probably not as worse, but it smells Anniversary Update ish in the problems. Once again, kind of making us understand that why is it like that? Why is there this issue and problem happening. So it's kind of interesting to see. And you know, we gotta think that hopefully things will get better. Microsoft Edge has come a long way from unfinished on the July 2015 version to pretty good browser that is also very good at specific tasks. Like, you know, it's the best PDF reader around for PC now. It's an ebook reader, which is nice. You know, if you don't have anything, it actually opens up the ebooks in Edge, which is nice. Of course, extensions took a long time before extensions actually appeared, and you know, now some of the most popular extensions are there. They exist. And the tweaking of Edge, you know, trying to make it better, and they're still tweaking Edge. You know, Edge is not a success. It's pretty much stayed at a very low level. Some of the problems I think that's plaguing that is the fact that they should not have used a icon that resembles Internet Explorer, because you would most people think it's Internet Explorer. It's not. I even had an example today. And so, you know, that's, I think, the first mistake. The second one is they should not have had Edge in Windows 10 from start. You know, they should have said, we are working on a browser. It's called Microsoft Edge. It's going to be there eventually. And, you know, get it out when it was ready to get out, not get it out when it was unfinished. And you know, the first year I didn't use Edge a lot. The first year Edge was, you know, I was using Chrome almost always, because Edge just didn't render things right and do things okay. But you know, that changed, and it's actually a pretty darn good browser now. But it won't change the fact that people don't want to use it, and that Google Chrome is dominating, and that's the way it is. You know, it's the way that all of that is working basically. And you know, we have had design changes like Fluent Design, the transparency stuff. They're trying to make it better, more beautiful. They're tweaking all the things around it, and you know, rethinking settings, rethinking, you know, Cortana that, you know, just appeared on Windows 10 and was supposed to be that great assistant that finally we see that not a lot of people are using. And you know, there's a lot of changes at Microsoft over the 3-year period. Decisions of, okay, we're going to stop this, we're not going to do that. This we will change what we want to do with it. And there's, you know, it's okay. I mean, a company that cannot change and that always goes in the same direction is not necessarily the best company in the world and the one that you want to deal with. But there's a lot of stuff in here that are interesting, and there's a interesting decision, you know, Windows Phone that disappeared. No more versions, you know, just security updates basically for those that still own a Windows Phone, and that side is gone. And you know, the future, well, a lot of apps and a lot of things. One of the things that I gotta say is that had a lot of discussion around is the fact that Microsoft just didn't, you know, give what they actually had said they would actually do, and they would announce things at these conferences and the keynotes, and they wouldn't come through on Windows 10. So you see, there's a problem there in saying, well, this great feature is going to be here. One of the latest examples of that is Sets. Sets that was kind of supposed to make it to the April 2018 update, and then was pushed. Oh, we'll have it in Redstone 5. Oh, well, it's not coming in Redstone 5. It seems it might be in 19H1, which is the next version we're already testing, and skip ahead. All these features that appeared later than was supposed to. Of course, all the basic apps, and the fact that the Universal Windows platform, it's kind of a failure. I mean, nobody, or almost no one, jumped on that. And now we're looking at, progressive web apps, which is a much more standard way of doing things that seems to take a lot of time to actually move on also. It's kind of interesting to see where we're going at. And 3 years later, we're still at Windows 10 is the last version of Windows. We're still there. There's nothing. There's not even a rumor at Microsoft that a new version called Windows 11 or whatever would arrive at some point. I remember we already had mentioned a little bit of that 3 years ago, how Windows 10 should just be called Windows. We're still at Windows 10, and we had these silly names, Creators Update, Fall Creators Update, then decided, hey, April 2018 update, okay. It's just interesting, and it's going to be interesting. And I am one of those that's fascinated by the future of where Windows is going. And with the PC market shrinking, also there's something to think about that, because the PC market means there will be less machines running Windows. And it's going to be interesting to see where we're going with that. And with Redstone 5 coming in just a couple of months, the rollout of that, how it's going to go. What new features will we have next year? It's a constant evolution, and it's interesting to look at. I am one of the first ones that just love, and most people that follow me here are a little bit on that side. They just are excited and can't wait to see what's next. So it is interesting. So happy anniversary to Windows 10, whether you love it or not. And we're a year and a half away from Windows 7 retirement. So that also is going to be a very interesting point to look at in a year and a half, where Windows 10 is going to be and where Windows 7 users are going to be at that point. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and if you have any memories, anything you want to share with the fact that Windows 10 is 3 years old, and maybe a memory of when Windows 10 first arrived on your PC for the first time ever, and give your opinion. Of course, no F words and no bad language, just honest opinions. And whether you like it or not, share your own take on what Windows 10 is all about. Thanks for watching.